Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today, I have a 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxys map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 here in the north, ending with Team 2 in the south. Starting off with the easternmost player on Team 1, it is the Amethyst Purple player of Cybeltron, not confused with Cybertron with an R. He is going first land as an Aeon, and he is a 1400. To his northwest in royal blue, we have Plasma Wolf going first land as the second Aeon for his team, and he is a 1700. In the west, we have ADZ 3000 going first land as the third Aeon for his team. Lots of Aeons on Team 1. He is a 1300, and he is going first land in light oak tan. And the very sensible choice of Team 1's player of Neutron going first land as a UEF, and in in forest green, he is an 1800, tied for the highest rated player on his team, and that is Neutron. And in the southwest, the person he is tied with is Will-O-Wisp going first land as a Cybern. He is in Chevy Crimson at an 1800 rating. And in the northwest here for Team 1's last player to introduce, we have free MP or magic points, as I like to denote. He is in orange, the color orange, going first air as a Cybern, and he is a 1400. So for Team 1 side of things, we have 3 Aeon, 1 UEF, and 2 Cyberns. No Seraphim for Team 1. And I'm going to slow it down because I forgot to do that on the first introductions, because the comms are moving to the middle. Even will go down to -3. We'll start here in the southeast for Team 2. It is General Hathelm going first land as a UEF in Ruby Red. He's getting the left drone. Probably will go for right drone after that, and he is an 1100. Now, actually doesn't go for right drone. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for it, but, you know, I was proven wrong. To his northwest in Stitch Blue, we have the UEF commander of Kaiser Wilhelm, the first of his name. He is going first land, second land as well, and he is a 1500 in Stitch Blue. In Emerald Green here to the west, the first Aeon for Team 2 to introduce, we have Wi-Fi 2100 rating, the highest rated player in the game and on Team 2. And he is going first land, second air. In the middle, already on the move, we have the Snow White commander of Colloquial Klaus. He is going first land, second air, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh land. He is a 1300 in Snow White as a Cybern. To his southwest, we have also on the move Wackle Contact going first land, second air as an Aeon. He is in Batman Gray, and he is a 1500. And last but not least, for Team 2, we have Luker going first, second, and third land as an Aeon. He is in glow-in-the-dark green, and he is a... Well, yeah, that's glow-in-the-dark green, and he is a 1900 as an Aeon. Kind of looked Pac-Man yellow, but it is glow-in-the-dark green on further inspection. So for Team 2 side of things, we have 3 Aeon, 2 UEF, and 1 Cybern. So Team 1 has 2 Cyberns, Team 2 has 2 UEF, and there are no Seraphim to speak of. Apologies for those who like to gate in with portals. They do not exist in this game, or at least in this match to speak of. Let's go ahead and take a look at Reclaim 2 Scoop Up. Currently on the map, we have 37,000 Reclaim. That is a ton of Reclaim to scoop up. A lot of it is in the middle of the map, but there are dotted around the map as well. Actually, most of it, I think, if we were to zoom in, yeah, 32,000 on screen currently. That is a chunk in the middle to scoop up, meaning that each player, if divided evenly, will get I'd say just round it down, 3,000 mass each if divided evenly, which it never is, but we can always dream of it. So... And in terms of mass point layouts, we have a nice little kind of bow forming here on the south. You can get the little arrow too. There you go. You can see the little bow in the southeast and in the south. I guess more east and west. We do have quad mechs positions and tri mechs position. Those are just quad mexes. We do have tri-mexes over here and over here. So there's a lot of mass to scoop up, and a lot of mass points to grab, and a lot of it is kind of in the middle of the map. We expect to see a lot of comm-on-comm action and a lot of units throwing shells and plasma at one another. In the middle, we have a mole going after a spirit, or actually the vice versa, spirit going after a mole. Does look like that spirit will not fully commit to the kill. I think that might be the first kill of the game if he does get the kill. 3 hit points left, 1 hit point left. And that is the first confirmed kill for Team 1 in this game that I saw. It was against a mole, and that was owned by Coloca Class. We do have a bomber out from Team 1's Plasma Wolf down the center, going after some engineers on a T2 Mechs upgrade. Will be taken out immediately. Mechs upgrade will continue, but the engineer was killed, and the interceptor will come in and will intercept and not be able to kill off the bomber as yet. Bomber dropping once again, going after... Don't know what he was going after there, but I guess maybe he thought engineers were there. I don't really know what that was about. Anyway, the bomber got at least 1 kill, so that's better than nothing. We have comms for both teams moving to the middle. I think all of them for Team 1 have left at least their main base. Team 2 does look like it is the same. So all 12 comms are going to, for the most part, meet up in the middle. It does look like Team 1's lagging a little bit behind. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Team 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 on the front lines and 2 in the rear. But they are moving up. It does look like Plasma Wolf getting some facilities online, and then he'll probably push to the south as well. But it does look like Team 2's forces, at least the comm, at least of Kaiser Wilhelm, the first of his name, is pushing forward straight to the middle. And a lot of movement orders going on screen, so apologies if it's kind of hard to read. In the west, we have a 2v1 scenario here. Wackel on Tact and Luca going after Will-O-Wisp. Will-O-Wisp does have 1 facility online producing some Mantis and trying to get a T1 PD online, but that is not going to go anywhere, especially against 2 Aeon comms versus 1 Cybern, trying to block their movement with those emergency T1 land facilities, and it's kind of doing some work. He did knock out Wackel from contact range, or at least from weapons range. We do see Lucas still moving into intercept. Does look like he'll stop for a brief second, giving Will-O-Wisp time to evade and get out of there. But Team 2 has made a lot of effort to push on the western side, and we have Team 1's free MP coming in on the east side. Goes, it's probably not a good idea if I go 2v1, so I'm just going to retreat anyways. And that is what he does. We have ADZ in the middle, creating a nice little battle. Battle frontline, kind of, sort of. It's not bold as of yet, not like it is in the east, where we have this giant kind of frontline facility starting to be established here. It's just a couple of engineers, couple of T1 Aurora. I don't know where I got engineers from. He's scooping up, being like an engineer. That's probably what I meant. Wi-Fi here to assist and scooping up that reclaim for his team. We have Hat Helm facing off against Cybertron. Hat Helm doesn't have his drone on his soldier. I don't know if he shoulder. I always want to say soldier when I say shoulder. I don't know why. It's just what I end up saying. The Plasma Wolf is charging with his comm. Kaiser Wilhelm just sitting there taking the rounds, but again, it's a 2v1, so Plasma Wolf will have to retreat at some point. We do see gun speed and range going down here for Will-O-Wisp. We do see gun damage and range for Neutron. And we do see still Hat Helm trying to, slow down and throw down on Cybeltron's comm. He is pushing forward again. Aeon comm with 1,100 hit points versus the UEF comm with 1,200, but Hat Helm has taken a significant amount of damage. He's lost his little buddy on his shoulder. He is rebuilding it just naturally. I think it actually does cost 14 mass a second, so that is a lot of mass to just be spending on that little engineer. But, it is nice to be able to just send him away to do stuff, so there's a benefit and a cost to everything. Nano repair going on the way here for Neutron, trying to rep up those hit points, or at least keep the hit points alive for as long as he can. Does look like Team 1 and Team 2 kind of at a homeostasis for the most part, at least on the eastern and middle front. We have on the western front the comm of Neutron pushing forward, and he is forcing the units back here from Team 2's, let's see, that is Luker. We have speed going on the way for Wackel. He's already finished the range. He'll just have to go for the speed. Maybe he'll go advanced range next. Usually Aeon comms go for both. But on the front line, it's not necessarily the case. We do have Klaus going after the T1 PD, and we have the gun speed upgrade going on here for ADZ. I don't know if he just was focused on the PD for some reason. He could have shot a lot of plasma into those chassis, but it does look like the Aurora are, driving his attention home and saying, oh yeah, this is the focus. There's a lot of Aurora coming into support, but all the matches coming from the east for Klaus, and will force ADZ to finish that upgrade and just say, see ya, I'm out of here, bye. And that has given the order to retreat. Aurora having to fall back due to the fact that they are weaker versus the Mantis. Almost double the hit points on the Mantis versus the Aurora. We do see in the west, it is 2v2 free MP chasing down Luca with some assistance from Will-O-Wisp. Of course, Will-O-Wisp is on the front lines. We do see Wackel trying to deal with those T1 Mantis and other units as an AA gun that just got annihilated. I think it was it's not a banger, it's not a bouncer, it's whatever the other one is, but T1 bombers over the top. Luca look like it is the first casualty of the game. Wackel trying to stand in front of Will-O-Wisp, but that is it. First kill of the game at 9 minutes is for Team 1 against Team 2, and it is Luca is the fallen, is the person that ends up getting killed, the victim or the casualty. Casualty. There we go. That's the word. Took me a second. I just finished watching the anime 86. If you haven't watched it, great show. Great anime. Highly recommend it. A little tear jerky a little bit in some parts, so be prepared. But it is a very, very good anime. Cost of War, all that stuff. It's very, very good. If you haven't watched it, cannot recommend it anymore. We have in the west, Team 1 going to start pushing it a little bit more. T2 tanks on the prowl here for those rhinos in the west here for Team 1's Will-O-Wisp. Be able to start expanding into these middle mexes. It does look like Team 1 has established a nice foothold in the eastern section. We do see Cybotron with the gun speed and range. Individual, not together. And he has not gone for advance, but he's still pushing that advantage for now. But the more he pushes, the more likely he will be killed off to a strap bomber or whatever the case may be as we get into that stage of the game. Range upgrade going down there for ADZ very quickly, and then immediately goes for advanced range, and that is flying up already 50% as I'm talking about it. That guy must have had some fast in the bar. Yes, he did, and now it's almost about out, but the upgrade is almost done anyways, and that will be huge for himself in the middle of the map. We do see his teammate of Neutron not very far forward, but kind of far forward, but there's a horde of units to the east here for Team 2's Kaiser Wilhelm, the first of his name. And those are going to intercept at some point. And if they keep moving westward, which they're not, surprisingly, but it does look like he's just going to sit there for a little bit. He does have the opposing force of Team 1's Plasma Wolf to worry about. So it's not entirely a good move to move all of his forces, but we even see the Hat Helm forces moving in westward to cover the units that have just vacated their position. But again, it keeps opening a pocket. These units move this way, power vacuum opens up. These units move in, power vacuum opens up, closes this power vacuum. And the units in the east, maybe it's a diversionary tactic. Maybe he wants the forces to just charge him. But there are a couple of defenses coming online here for Kaiser, some TMD, and then followed by some PD to help assist with dealing with any nasty little attack missile snipes that may be on the cards here for any of our players. We have T3 on the cards here for the air. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 players going T3 air. These can go T3 air. 1, 2 of them just staying at T2. And the second one in the west is going T3 as well. So 2 players on Team 1 definitely going T3 air. We have 1, 2, no, he doesn't. No, only 2 players on Team 2 going air, at least have a T2 facility, at least. So that will give a huge advantage to Team 1 in the air, while Team 2 is focused more on the ground efforts. We'll have to see if that pans out for either team as the game progresses, of course, because the more players that die, the less APM you have. The less APM you have, the harder it is to manage, and the harder it is to manage, the easier it is for your lines to fall. Cybotron is pushing forward. Hat Helm in the east. Again, Cybotron has the gun and range, does not have the advanced range, does walk into PD weapons range, so he'll have to retreat from that. And some nice intelligence to be able to keep that target on Cybotron. Plasma Wolf coming in to assist in the east. And it might start being a 2v1 scenario here if Hathelm is not careful. He's going to keep pushing, and now Plasma Wolf with the advanced range upgrade is pushing against Hathelm. We see Kaiser coming in. It's 2 UEF comms versus 2 Aeon comms. Sabotron has retreated, and it does look like Plasma Wolf is just going to let him escape for now. Again, if he pushes it, he might get the kill on Hathelm, but he would die in the process due to Kaiser and that explosion, of course. But Kaiser is falling very deep. He has Nano on board. He has engineering, or the engineering little drone, and he does have gun, but he is falling into the red, sub almost 3,000 hit points. He is staying somewhat online due to his forces throwing themselves into his enemy, but again, this is very deadly. He does get a rank efficiency very crucially back into the yellow, and he will be fine for now. In the middle, again, still more fighting, skirmishing going on in the middle. It does look like Team 1 is pushing a little bit further as time goes on. You can see the line starting to kind of, fall a little bit more southward. This base here for Team 2's Wi-Fi and Calicula class has been, if not fully destroyed, at least pushed back at the most part. We do see in the east, again, still more engineers, still more Team 1 tanks. Team 2 needs some assistance on this eastern side. 2 large armies here for Team 1. There is a nice army here, of course, for Kaiser, but a lot of PD as well being used as a stopgap for these forces, in lieu of the forces at least, on that eastern side. Of course, we do see Wackel gaining control of the base that once belonged to Luker. So 2 base comm, definitely very deadly. Wi-Fi only on 1 base has almost 200 mass, more than Wacko, who's on 2 base. So it just goes to show the skill level of the 2100 in this game. And he, speaking of which, has his own strat bomber going after ADZ in the middle, will force him back. There are some T2 blazes on the east. Would love to see some obsidians in the mix there, and at least one asylum. Gotta have some shielding of some sort. And for those of you who know, I will never stop talking about shielding, ever. Even if you have the entire map, every single spot covered in shielding, I'll still say, oh, you could put some UBF comm bubble shields, or whatever the case may be. Cannot have enough shielding. It's a nice double kill there with the blaze against the comm, so double dipping, or actually even triple dipping into damage. That Shocker is running into some T1 railguns here, and that bomber is gonna die. Does he get the bomb off? Yes, he does. Does get the AoE splash on ADZ. He will be forced to retreat. He is very deep in the red, sub 2,000 hit points. ASFs still fighting over the middle of the map here between both teams. But I do see not necessarily a run by, because it's being intercepted very easily. But we have some sniper bots as well as some harbingers and T2 tanks coming in to intercept this force of T1 units. More Aurora and some fervors, and they could take out a couple of mexes, but it does look like, there's a blaze in there. Doesn't look like it does not get anywhere though. But we have in the middle Calicula Clouds being pushed back once again by T2 Obsidians. Hey, those are the Obsidians I was talking about. And Rhino's coming in for his assist. So Team 1 still holding the middle. Team 2, again, just struggling to, push forward on this eastern side, and has completely, not given up, but essentially diverted all attention to the middle versus the west. Team 1 is very weak on the west. If Team 2 builds up a nice force, they could shove it through Team 1's defenses. They could spam up some T1 bombers. That would take a minute, and they could take out some T2 extractors and some defenses to be able to start throwing missiles at the other side of the map. So Team 1 is weak on this western side. There are forces guarding, but it's not a lot. But definitely something that Team 2 should be aware of. Shield going on the way here for Wi-Fi here at 94 minutes. At 16 minutes in this game, I was looking at his percentage, and that will give him some nice survivability here. Heavy shield, so it does look like Team 1's ADZ just going to throw his comm into danger, because why not? You are a 1300. You are the lowest, not the lowest, but tied for the second lowest in the game. It doesn't necessarily mean anything in terms of rating, at least at this skill level. It does, but anyway. He is just going to get that heavy shield. He's just going to throw caution to the wind and just shove his comet in the other team's faces and see if they can stick with it or not, or deal with it or not. We have an attack that kind of started to happen here in the east, and then a counterattack that, again, started to happen, but it doesn't really go very well. 1 Mex was taken out, but there are a lot of... That's a decent chunk of Obsidians. Again, Obsidians are the T2.5 units I have, well, not I specifically have classified, but I have just co-opted the term. Those and Ilshis, those are the two units that I termed are being T2.5 that have great survivability or just great damage and very annoying. Ilshis are more annoying than Obsidians. You cannot change my mind no matter what you do. But this game doesn't have any Ilshis because there's no Seraphim comms at all, period. So for those that don't like the Seraphim, this is the perfect game for you. Wi-Fi with his single upgrade on his shield versus the ADZ 3000 commander with double shield or heavy shield. The range on the Wi-Fi commander. Oh, bomb gets him just barely. It looked like he immediately hit the brakes and the bomb just kept going. Push to the west does commence, and in the east as well, towards the east and towards the west, meaning in the middle. Team 1's frontline position is collapsing right now due to the overwhelming firepower and pushing of Team 2's forces, and of course Wi-Fi being on the front lines, leading his men and other comrades into danger. Still, Shockers still being thrown at that comm, cannot seem to get the kill. Both air forces for Team 1 and Team 2 poised for that bomber to be just a little bit out of range, so then they can go after him. We are approaching the 20-minute mark in this game. The action is kind of slowed down a little bit, so we'll go over mass totals here for a second. Team 2 at 987, almost 1,000 mass before 20 minutes. Team 1 at 950, 930. So it does look like it does favor Team 2 ever so slightly. Of course, they are down a player, but that does mean that more resources are in the hands of less hands, which means they can use the resources, I wouldn't say more effectively, but for other things. I wouldn't even say better, just more. They're just used for different things, for more concentrated efforts, I guess that'd be the term that I would use. But the orange ASFs for free MP are do charge in, as well as the ones from Neutron. It does look like the combined air forces will give Team 1 air control. I don't know if it's dominance. I mean, this early, it's kind of hard to say dominance. You could say dominance because they have almost entire, air force or air space pretty much cordoned off to themselves at this point. But I mean, when you're only up about what? Okay, 20, maybe some extras, so maybe 30 max. It's not a lot, but if you're up like 100, 200, that's really is when it really becomes dominance. Because you can just, if you can fly all your ASFs around the map, on the enemy side of the map, and they're mostly fine in terms of numbers, then I think you have dominance at that point. We do see artillery launches in terms of these missiles, and now a miasma that was stopped because I think the engineer was killed off. But we have one missile constantly landing on Hathelm's positions. Of course, he is the turtle faction, which means they are known for being little turtles and building little shells that the other players have to crack. The Clink Hammer is not shielded, but will finish, and the shielding is starting to fall around him. So he'll need to deal with this. There is a triad that's soaking up a lot of that incoming missile fire, but there is a miasma battery up here to the north as well. So both teams are firebasing at this point, at least in the east. And Team 2 is pushing Team 1 back. Team 1 lost a lot of vital territory. There's a lot of mechs. Actually, there's a couple of mechs still under Team 1's control for Neutron that just haven't been taken out. Of course, now we're getting into T3 stages in this game. And again, just to illuminate, Team 1 is at 6 players left. Team 2 is at 5 players left. Please let me know down in the comments if you think who is going to currently win. And of course, you got to hit that like button. You got to hit that subscribe button. You got to hit that share button to share it with all your animals, all your friends, all your cohorts, whatever the case may be. There is in the northeast one lonely little harbinger running around. So again, if you've been enjoying the cast, please make the YouTube algorithm happy by doing one or all of the things that I mentioned. And you're doing one thing right now. You're watching the video. So hey, there you go. If that's all you want to do, that's perfectly fine with me. If you want to do more, that's perfectly fine with me. I can't force you to do anything, because that would be kind of weird for me, for anybody in this stage in technology to be able to force somebody through the internet. At least at this stage, we don't know. At some point, maybe AI, whatever. I don't know what's going to happen with all that. But I'm more focused on just casting wonderful games for everybody to enjoy, providing a nice little relief and some entertainment for people to either enjoy, criticize, compliment, whatever the case may be. I appreciate any and all engagement. It does look like the miasmas have broken through the shields, and are ripping through those. Oh, this one's barely alive at 225 hit points left, but I don't think the shields for Hathem will stay online for a long period of time. Those miasma have the very, very annoying ability to have that little linger damage. It just reminds me of the linger potion from Minecraft is essentially what it reminds me of. It's just a little like pool of acid or whatever the heck it's made out of, and you run in it, and either it gives you ability or makes you sick or whatever the case may be. In this case, it's just, I don't know if it's acid specifically. It's something, and it does not feel good. And there goes that second clean camera down. And again, when you're on the receiving end of a bunch of artillery, it's really, really hard to get your own artillery up and running, especially when it's in range of that said artillery. It does look like multiple comms on Team 1 have retreated the front line. Same here for Team 2. That early to mid-ish game stage of comms on the front line have kind of just stopped. We do see some comms still on the front lines for both teams, but the majority of comms have at least retreated to safer pastures, or at least, gone almost to the rear. You see an SMD online here for Team 1's Neutron. He's going to be building a Fat Boy here in a moment, or at least has started the process of doing so. Air grid being flushed out by both of those players. Don't see any juicy plays. Do see some some spy planes over the top here for Team 2, or multiple players on Team 2. I don't see any sort of like nuke rushes. A huge air grid here for Team 2's Wi-Fi, and another huge air grid being planned. Actually, and not co-opting, but integrating the mass FABs to reduce the mass cost of some of those units. It does have a one lonely shield. One is better than nothing, but would recommend like 30 more at least. But one is better than none. But I don't see any sort of rush for nuke. I don't see any sort of that. Another air grid in the southwest here for Team 2's Wackel. So Team 2 realizing the threat of Team 1's air forces. We do see an experimental. It is a Colossus. And sometimes it's a little early to see a Colossus at 24 minutes, but with two base eco, that definitely fits the bill for why it's so just standing there. There are a lot of Harbingers supporting it as well. Not a lot of AA. There's actually no AA in that mix. Kind of a disappointing mixture of units. There aren't Asylums. They're just Harbingers, which Harbingers are fine. They're not. They're good. They're good units, but Team 1 bombers come in. You can't really fight that. So. Yeah, the T3 AA shields. There is one sniper bot, and it's just sitting here down here. Maybe it's forgotten, but it's going to hang out here for now. We have in the east another puncturing attack, another forward momentum attack, but it doesn't really go very well. They want to take out the miasma battery. I don't blame them. There is a Ravager creep starting to occur here for Hathelm. He switched over from T2 artillery to T3 PD and is taking out two shield emitters, two shield generators. And that is going to hurt. I call them shield emitters just due to the fact that in Star Wars the shield generator is like a couple of rings. You've seen Empire Strike Back, you know what I'm talking about. But it doesn't provide, that's not the actual shield. That's just the power essentially for the shield, and then there's the emitter somewhere else that it actually emits the actual shield. So in the game it's called shield generator, but like we go over here, see shield generator, or is there another faction I can look at? Shield generator, because technically you're supplying the power from somewhere else, and you're supplying, you're doing the power. But anyway, I mean, you could call them power generators instead of shield generators, but I think General Veers in episode 5 says shield generator. Some comment is made about it specifically. Anyway. They can't be synonymous between one or the other, but usually I just go with emitter and generator. But if that gets confusing, just remember that this is, of course, is what I'm talking about, not some other thing. But we do see Homunculoid tried and failed to stop this push of T3 Harbingers with the Colossus support, and we do see those units from Team 2's Wacko actually pushing in westward, not going east, avoiding this position. And I think they're going straight north, or at least going to push westward. There is a Monkey Lord, and that Monkey Lord might be enough to hold off at least the Colossus at a bare minimum. But unfortunately, with all that Harbinger support, it is going to take a while to chew through everything. The Monkey Lord has that giant laser on top of it, and we do have, of course, the face laser of the Colossus with its very Very, very annoying suction cup arms. We do see the push out from Team 2, actually breaking through the artillery position and moving in northeastwardly, being spearheaded specifically by the Perseus. We do see some of these restorers not good at ground-to-air weapon, air-to-ground weaponry. Better than nothing, as I always say, but still, they're not really meant for that. The experimental in the west does get taken out. The Colossus does fall. There's a nice horde of T3. We see a couple of bangers here. We see a couple of mantis. So a nice horde of different units for Team 2's Whackle, but we'll have to at least retreat for the time being in the face of that one Monkey Lord. And of course we have the Tickle PD of the Cerberus. I mean, a lot of anything will kill anything, but still. But still. That Fat Boy will definitely chew up these units if they do not retreat in time. But look at this push that's happened on the eastern side, almost around this little plateau section. That's a huge amount of territory gained. We see some parashields in the mix there. We see a lot of T1 strikers, but we also see some archers in there. We also see, are there any Lobos in there? Oh, there's a couple in there. We see some Lobos in there. Good mix of units here coming out from General Hathelm at 27 minutes in this game. What is Team 1 going to do in response to this newly found aggression that they've had to encounter? Well, Colossus in the east definitely going to assist with that pushback. We see another Colossus. It's paused and it's barely started, but it's there. We see E1 PD trying to protect the SMD. Maybe they're in fear of a sort of nuclear weaponry that might be building and brewing in the south. Whackle has his own SMD. Actually, multiple of them to speak of. We don't see any SMD here. Oh, there is here, though. So Whackle covering essentially both his base and Wi-Fi's base. If it came straight at him from over here, he'd be done and dusted. But if it came from the west, he'd be perfectly fine. And there is no SMD, but I wouldn't be surprised to see one here in a couple minutes. Maybe like right... I mean, the volatile explosions from those not great. But maybe right here. That'd be a good position, getting some assistance with the loading from those P-gens. But now we have a combined red, white, and blue. There we go from our American fans. I'm from the U.S., so, I mean, who am I to talk? But red, white, and blue in the middle of the map. I mean, I guess the UK also has red, white, and blue. And Australia does, if I remember the flag correct. I know a lot of countries have that. But, of course, being an American, when I think of red, white, and blue, I think of us. But I guess that's kind of typical of where you live. But we do see this Colossus just stomping. Just stomp on the old Perseus in the middle. And we see another Colossus coming in from Team 1's player Plasma Wolf as well. So 2 Colossus to stave off a bunch of spam. Definitely going to be the right choice there. Laser can rip through those units very quickly. We do see some more Harbingers appearing here for Team 1's side, Beltron as well. And I'm going to say Cybertron at some point. I know I am. I think I already have at least at some point. It's just when your name is one letter off, something that I have heard a lot, it's very hard not to say it. We do see some archers trying to fight off those restorers, but not the best choice for those. Not so much. Need some cougars in the mix. We do see a transport of some T3 Titans on this upper plateau. There's a lot of T1 AA guns, and it's not a complete isolated plateau. There is a wall section that's been built. So those units can traverse onto this eastern side, but it will be a lot of warning. And they'll be definitely found out very quickly. Can we attack somewhere? Says possible. We're going to lose long game. Not without air, says Will-O-Wisp. Definitely a good comment by Will-O-Wisp, making the comment that, if they push, it won't really work because there's a lot of ASFs, Wi-Fi. That is wow. 264 ASFs at 30 minutes. All those facilities come in very handy, and he's going for Czar as well, putting all of his mass into air as he should, because he is an air player, and that's just what air players do, and getting more facilities online in the rear, some T3 Pigeons and mass fat farms just to establish himself in the eco. We can see that 900 mass versus the second player below him is 600 at Whackle, and he's on 2 bases. So realistically, he'd probably be about maybe 400 or so, but still, Team 2 severely surpassing Team 1's fighter capability, production facilities. A Nuke or a telemaser or something needs to be thrown at this to deal with it, because long term, just like Will-O-Wisp said, that is not going to feel good. Wi-Fi has built his Tsar, his little donut. Actually, it's not little, it's a big donut. And it's going to support his air forces. And those long-range missiles are very, 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 very annoying to deal with. Especially when you have 4 of these things shooting at you, and your ASFs are just ripped to shreds by... Well, if you don't have a lot of ASFs, they're ripped to shreds, but you can just throw them in. And of course, the lasers get turned on, and then they chew through your ASF forces, and then goes your air force. So yeah, kind of a you know, will they won't, damned if you do, damned if you won't kind of thing. We do see a new nuke launcher in the south part of the map, and if it wasn't for the icon on the mini map, I wouldn't really have noticed it. It really does stick out if you notice in the west side of your screen, that little giant little missile icon. It's also in the center of the screen as well. Wouldn't notice that if it doesn't stick out, and it definitely does. Look at that thing. Oh, that's a huge eye. Is that the right size? I don't know. It feels bigger for some reason. Anyway, that has started to load, so Team 2's Wackel has some nuclear hellfire capabilities. And that donut is charging in the east, being supported by a ton of ASFs. Team 1, of course, Team 2 had 260. Team 1 has about almost 300. I'd say a little bit under 300. But with one player supplying all of the air forces, that is a ton of air forces to have. And Team 1 has to have 2 players devote to all of that versus 1 player on Team 2. Definitely a good use of APM and just overall competency in this game. We see a monkey with its older brother of a megalith moving into the west. There's a Colossus trying to intercept, and it does look like those units that move southward go, nah, it's fine. There is a Colossus down there, so just go eastward. And these units are just going to line up for death, and then they go, nope, 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 no, 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 nope, turn around, nope, gotta group up, everybody formation move, and that's essentially what's happening. The donut is inbound. This is a very ominous sight. You can see that donut slowly approaching, like Independence Day up in here. Just you can see the slow approach of that donut. It's going straight for the Colossus, it looks like, but of course it's going to be a big target for Team 1 to go after, but the ASFs are sitting right next to it just to intercept the ASFs from Team 1, and that donut is getting bigger and bigger, and the monkey goes, nah, I don't like this. I don't like this. Laser's coming to get me, guys. Guys, I need some help here. We do have a lot of bangers here for Team 1, so that shield will get ripped through pretty quickly, actually. The ASFs are poised to go after it. The hit points for the shield do drop, and now they're going after the actual, like, not hard hit points, but what you call those? Like, base hit point? Not base hit points. What'd you call those? Standard hit points? I don't know. They're, I guess, shield capacity and hit points, I guess what we'll call it. So it's going after the actual hit points, and then the shield capacity has already been drained. 5 Colossus stand in the middle here for Team 1. That force definitely will be thrown at the front line. SMD almost loaded, very far forward for Kaiser Wilhelm. And don't. I get it, you want to intercept a bunch of targets, but 5 Colossus barreling down, that SMD is not going to survive. And the Tsar goes in for the second time, and the ASFs decide this is the time, but the Colossus to the west is going to help intercept. And oh, there I was going to say, the Tsar was almost not even taken out, but Team 2's air forces are engaging the combined air forces for Team 1. And looks like Team 1 won that fight. There was some bangers down below. There is a crab and a Colossus moving into those dual crabs here in the west side of the map for Team 1's Will-O-Wisp. The first crab for Team 1 dies off. The Colossus, I think, will die. This crab will probably survive. And the bricks are trying to assist with dealing with that Colossus. They are annoyed and very upset with their fallen, the death of their fallen bigger brother. But the push in the north has commenced. 3 Colossus line the western side. I wouldn't be surprised to see these Colossus given the order to move in very quickly. Artillery is nearby, so those Colossus are going to take some free damage here. Actually, some of these Colossus aren't even targeting much of anything. There is a Soothsayer in the middle of the map, which provides a decent amount of map coverage. That's a lot of vision. shoot. I mean, it's not a 20 by 20. It's probably about a 15 or so. That is a ton of vision to just have on the map. Guys are Wilhelm pinging, and they are Colossus moving in. Percy's moving into from the east to the west, and they're getting lasered up or scooped up by those Colossus arms. It's not feeling well for those Percys here in this game. There is a Colossus owned by Team 2's Whole Clear class, which is actually under shield coverage, so it does get a nice bump in hit point coverage and survivability. This first Colossus will fall just due to the amount of firepower coming off those Percys. And now the bricks from the west come in and intercept as well. Reclaim operations are occurring on the map, all over the map. And in terms of the amount of mass currently still on the map here, 280,000 mass, and it is growing by the millisecond. That's a lot of mass to be on the map. Amount for a Paragon is just more than any. Well, I mean, you can shoot through more mass than that in a game, but still, that's a lot of mass. The shields are down, targeting the left, well, not the left Colossus, but the only Colossus. A lot of T1 spam coming through the middle here for Team 2's Wi-Fi. He's lost air control. He still has a lot of air, so it's not dominance. He's just lost control. And I guess it was kind of tied. I guess it wasn't necessarily in Team 2's Wi-Fi's hands. But the Colossus in the east dies. The Colossus for Team 2 dies. And it's just a big hunk of mass in the middle. Fat Boy here to the east, coming out here from Hat Helm to help support his teammates and defenses. Does Team 1 have a... Oh, I saw that. I saw artillery somewhere coming in from Team 2, and I thought I saw incoming for Team 1. Oh, nope, they just have this up here, which is 2 strategic missile launcher facilities. Definitely interesting. Maybe the artillery is targeting that. It's coming in from the southeast, so I would assume somewhere in that line. I don't see field here. It doesn't cover everything, but it covers something at least. Oh, here it is. It is from Wi-Fi. It's close to the southeast, more like south by southeast. Second emissary almost finished. It's over a little bit. Is it a little bit over half done? It's almost half done. That's the word for it. And in the west, we see 3 experimentals, 2 crabs versus 2 crabs and a Colossus. I guess a Fat Boy too, you can kind of count that. And that Colossus is being ripped to shreds. Of course, it's focusing the weaker crab first, as what you should do. You want to take out the one that is weaker, because at 1 health, you can still do 100% of the damage. So you gotta worry about that. RD3 says Neutron. 2? No, I only see the 2. I don't see a number 3. Maybe he meant 2. Oh, there's one right there. There's an emissary to the north being built as well. So Team 2 going heavy into the T3 RD stage of this game, or just long-range tactics, nukes, YOLOs, Mavors, that sort of thing. We haven't gotten to the game enders yet, but we're kind of on that teetering the edge of getting into that territory. Artillery versus artillery here. Another miasma battery, not supported by pigeons, but there are some volcanoes and some SAM sites to be able to ward off any transport nonsense, at least some of the transports. I can actually say SAM site in this game because there are no Seraphim, and Seraphim do not have SAMs. They have, I think it's essentially direct fire weapons. It just fires a bolt and that's it. It's not like a bunch of missiles. We have Shield Heavy coming online here for Wi-Fi. He wants to protect himself. He has the sensor package. He has the T3 shield, the heavy shield, and T3 engineering suite. So chonky calm. Gonna have 40,000 hit points when he's done. And he has 1 veterancy, almost 2, so he could have even more hit points. But the early stages is when you get those veterancy for the most part, not necessarily at the late stage. And again, with the 1 Fat Boy against 2 crabs and a megalith, it does look like Team 2 is getting the better end of the deal with that reclaim. Team 1 is getting a lot of reclaim too, but in terms of totals, Team 2 is at 250,000 versus almost 200,000. So 50,000 more mass might not seem a lot, but it is if you add it up as time goes on. That is a quarter of a Paragon, that's another way to think about it. The air grid here for Team 1's player of Free MP has been taken out. He has a secondary air grid to the east, but I think that was the T3 air headquarters, and that's gone. The Pigeon is gone. He's focusing on the nukes. One of them has been loaded. One of them is almost loaded, but I don't see any downed SMD facilities. This one has 2. And this one has 1, so he could do both of them this way, but that one might be able to cover it. There's another SMD to the east that has 2 loaded. This is an SMD that has 0 loaded, but still a lot more SMD being established, and another one, a couple more in the west here for Wackel. So that's a lot of coverage here for those nuke or anti-nuke missiles. So nuking is definitely not going to be the primary way that Team 1 is going to attack their enemy bases. We do see more shields being established here for Neutron, trying to shield up his air grid, since his partner's air grid to the west has been not entirely taken out, but it's definitely seen some better days. And we can see that artillery is now starting to land on that nuke base. And there go the shields. They all go down almost simultaneously. The nuke launchers, I don't think, are very long for this world at this point. Cybern shields are not super great. They can be, very instantly built, but longevity isn't super great. 1 emitter is down. Nuke launcher does launch from the one that we were talking about, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this one launch pretty soon. It does look like he's going to teleport in as well, so he has laser and teleporter as well. This guy's going late game, and that nuke launcher is going to go down. He gets 1 out of it, almost got a second out of it, but tried to go for it. Teleporter is inbound, and he teleports right in front of that SMD, and he gets the SMD, and that nuke is inbound. We have a nuke anti-nuke silo to the west, and east and the west. West is loaded, east is not, but Free MP dies, takes all those bombers with him, and was able to avoid the one in the west, and this nuke will land. He sacrificed himself for his nuke to work, and the air grid will go up in smoke. Team 2 has lost an air grid in the southwest, but the dual huge air grid in the east and artillery base, now 3 of them online and 4 of them online for Team 2, definitely will turn the war battle to their favor here at 41 minutes in this game. That is a lot of firepower, and the Team 1 sacrificed essentially Team 1 of their players sacrificed himself for that play. And honestly, I don't know if they'll get a whole lot out of it. Nuke launcher in the back, just still loading, still hanging out. Just nothing to worry about down there. Nothing to see. I don't even know if Team 1 knows about it. No, they do. They're just not paying attention. Either not paying attention or not focused on it. But the shields are starting to fall here. 4 emissaries is a lot. Is a lot of firepower to deal with. You need a bunch of T3 and T2 shields. You can't forget T2 shields. We can see them being implemented here in the east. Each T2 shield has 9,000 versus the shield capacity of 17,000. So, it's a little under double, but it's a lot. You can build the T2 a lot quicker and all of that. So if you need a shield now, it's faster to build a T2 than it is T3. That's why Cyberns are nice, because you can almost insta-build. If you're, I think it's a T3 Cybern comm, engineering suite comm, you could just almost insta-build a T2 shield, I think. It's pretty close to that. Do you see Kaiser Wilhelm has fallen back to his Duke, though? 5 artillery for Team 2. That is a lot. That is a lot. And of course, a 6th one is coming online just for Wi-Fi. He turned all of his mass income from building some ASFs into artillery, and that is a great play. You already have a bunch of mass. You already have a bunch of energy. Might as well spend it on something else, and that is a great thing to spend it on. And considering he has 1,000 mass income alone, so a third of the entire eco for Team 2 is owned by 1 player. Team 1 is slightly ahead now, since a lot of players have repped up their ecos as well. But overall, 1 player having 1,000 mass at 42 minutes by himself, that's a lot. I mean, no extra bases. He built all the facilities essentially himself. Maybe he was gifted over a couple of stuff. Maybe, maybe not, because this is sorely in Team 2's Hat Helm's position, so maybe he was gifted over a couple. Doesn't matter. That is a lot of mass. And it does look like the nuke for Team 2's player of Wackel is going to get some revenge from that earlier nukage, and that nuke is going to land. Look like you're right here, but there's a lot of engineers, and I don't think that's going to do as much as he thinks it's going to do. And yes, it will land there, and yes, it will kill a lot of civilians, and yes, it will hurt. Well, it does kill the rest of the remaining mass for that GC. But, yeah, that didn't really do a whole lot. Everyone went scatter and moved out of the way. Team 2 has been able to hold this eastern position for quite a while, and now the artillery is focused on the northeastern player here for Cy Beltron. He is suffering a lot of artillery fire, a lot of SAM sites being built. He's building his own emissary with no shields. You've got to build shields. P-gens, oh, 3 artillery almost perfectly placed to kill all those P-gens. That has got to hurt. The comm for Team 1's player, Cy Beltron, is in the rear with RAS, gun, and T3 engineering suite. He wants to protect himself in the rear. -3 EU says ADC. Well, right now I'm watching it at 0, so it's not that bad. But when the sim speed for my replay, for the replay goes down, you know it's bad. When it's like -2, and it's probably not -2 that they're playing at, kind of thing. So if they're playing at -3, oh, I couldn't even imagine what -2 is. Slow. That's just the word I'm going to use for that. It's just slow. Takes out a couple of facilities. That emissary is not being built. Team 2 is locking Team 1 out of any sort of artillery war games. We don't see any sort of artillery being built. Team 1, if they want to win it, they probably have to win it on the ground or in the air. But they're kind of starting to do that with ground a little bit. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. A little bit's better than none. But a lot of it's better than little. But do you see those ASFs? Looks like they're going to engage the ASFs from Team 2's Wi-Fi. And we have some assisting ASFs from Team 1's Plasma Wolf. We have Colossus going down. We have Crabs going down. We have SMGs going down. That's definitely a plus here for Team 1. But a lot of ASFs are being dealt with here for Team 1. And then, oh, this is very surprising. It looked like Team 2 was going to lose this, but now it looks like it's almost dead even. Looks like a lot of the missiles coming off of those ASFs were diverted to those T1 bombers. But no, it's still a contingent of ASFs. But there's also SAM sites. There's also, a lot of AA around everything. Lasers from those Colossus are coming in, and they kill off Colloquial Klaus. That is a kill for Team 1, dropping this game to a 5v4 in favor of them. Does look like the emissary will go down to P-Gen Explosion. Definitely not the way you want to go out there. You want to go out to enemy artillery. Guess that's the way to go out. But T3 strap bombers are inbound. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. Select neutron. Select another one track. Select it back. Set it back to 0. Oh, I had to set it to 0 first. There we go. There we go. There's the buttons. And we're going to track those bombers. They are inbound. We have some AA trying to thwart those bombers. Bomber did not make the target. Some of them might, though. I don't think they're going to get a lot of work done. And with all those shields, it definitely does not work out here for Team 1's strap bombers. That's definitely a blow that's going to hurt for a little bit. But the Corsairs, the Crabs, and the Colossus are just going straight for it. If he can get a couple P-Gen destroyed, that is essentially just a cascade waiting to happen. It's the benefit and a curse of having the P-Gens next to one another. You don't have to, spend the mass to build more P-Gens. But you also have to worry about the volatile explosions if the shields are broken. The Crab needs to keep moving. Yeah, they want to take out the SMD. That's always a good thing to do. But you want to take this out. One emissary, actually that's a P-Gen. One emissary is very vulnerable to some cascading. But the Frontline Crab goes down. One is very, very healthy. And there's a lot of bombers already here. Strap bombers coming in as well. We have a nuke being launched by Team 2. It looks like he was building his own Apocalypse nuke launcher. And that Crab is the sole survivor. Colossus and everything just running into it. Shield still online. And that Crab, I don't think is going to get a lot of work done. Team 1 launches a nuke? Oh, there's a nuke. Well, that's a really weird place to put a nuke. But, I mean, it works. And where is that going? That is going straight for this base here for Team 2's Wi-Fi. Will not get the nuke launcher. But there is no SMD on range. Does kill a ton of Rascoms. Oh, ow. I just see the Mickey Mouse ears, essentially. Just like, ow. And there goes that nuke. We'll watch it in all of its glory. And then, of course, we'll say the catchphrase for the nuke once it... there we go. Kaboom! Takes out a chunk of the air grid, takes out all of those emissaries. Of course, Team 2 still has a Duke over here. But, taking out 4 emissaries is a great grab by Team 1. And this game not necessarily has been blown wide open, but has definitely alleviated a lot of the pressure. You can see what it's done to the air player of Neutron. He was severely wounded, sub 3,000 hit points, and artillery still raining in from the shots that were made earlier on. Of course, the artillery from the Duke is still firing. And it does look like there's artillery, and there is another emissary in the west, so still alleviating 4 artillery. That was a great shot by Team 1's red player of Will-O-Wisp. And his nuke launcher got 210,000 mass killed and is almost repped up to deploy another nuke. He's got to launch that immediately. An SMD immediately built. It's going to go right here, I feel like. Take out the MathFab air grid. Nuke launcher is a little bit half completed. 151,000 mass killed. That's a lot of mass. That's a lot of mass for one nuke to kill. And we do see some bombers to the west. Will the nuke launch in time? Will it load and launch in time? But I don't think it will. The shield is down. The Liberator did not die. Oh, you gotta launch it. Gotta launch it. Go, go, go. Nope. Nope, it's not going to. I'm just going to watch it die. That is definitely disappointing. It was almost there. Bomber's going for another pass. But that is it for that nuke launcher. Almost got a second. That would have been very prime to get it just right here. As Salvation is now started by Wi-Fi. See that? He does no way. No, he doesn't have a Paragon because he have just like so much mass per second. So that's not it. Trap bombers are inbound over the top, but what are they going for? They're dropping for this position. They kept going, probably wouldn't get much. Does take out the Omni, I think that was there. Trap bombers get nowhere past that line, but do break the shields at least a little bit. I think that was a Omni sensor. I don't see any more of them. There's one in there for Wackle. I'm assuming there was one in here at some point here for on the Eastern players for Team 2. But they're not super blind, but they've lost a lot of radar sensing capabilities. Missiles are... Oh, they took out some of the TMD. That's probably what it was. Taking out some T3 extractors, and we see nuke. We see, not nukes, but artillery landing in. Oh, and takes out some artillery, takes out the Fat Boy, and takes out a couple more installations. That was a bunch of missiles, apologies, not artillery. I guess you could call it missile artillery, I guess is what you could call it. 49 minutes in this game. Team 1 at 5 players left. Team 2 at 4 players left. Team 2 at 2.3 mass per second. Team 1 at 2.7 K mass per second. That, I mean, it's not a lot of mass to be down, but now that Team 1 has gained the lead on mass, more mass accrued than their opponent, we have an emissary built with a some modicum of shields being produced. You need more than that. You need a lot more than that, but the emissary is now firing. So Team 1 has their own artillery now, but again, remember, Team 2's blue player of Kaiser has built his own Duke and has more Fat Boys on the way. We has Salvation, but it does look like Wi-Fi is having some power issues. Focusing on the word was. Salvation is going to finish, and Pigeons are definitely going to assist with the adjacency bonus and just ratcheting up that fire rate on that Salvation. That thing fires fast already, and adding 4 P-gens to it is just stupid. It's just stupid. Just so much. Jacks up the fire rate very quickly. And see, the cannon is getting into range. I like how it has to go fully almost straight up and down, and then it turns. It can't just turn and, go up at the same time, but it has to do one or the other. But, yeah, it does give a little bit of time for enemy players to be able to have some sort of delay before it's built, before they receive the massive amounts of fire, and it has to go all the way around. And there it goes. And he's got to build a Scathis, because why not? Because why not build a Scathis? Because why not? Why not have one? You already built one experimental artillery, might as well build another one. We have SMDs loaded over here. I don't see any sort of nuke launchers anymore for Team 1. I see obviously the one in the south for Team 2, but that's realistically about it. I don't see that much, and that artillery is going to just chew through those shields. It is not going to last very long, and that emissary is going to go down. Again, 50 minutes in this game. We have 4 crabs, apologies, in the west versus 2 One severely wounded. One of them is almost severely wounded. And that crab is perfectly fine. This crab is kind of fine. The crab is very much wounded, and the first crab is down. The western front looks like it is collapsing. The middle front, though, is collapsing for Team 2. Slowly but surely, 3 Colossus are en route. 3 Colossus for defense are falling back for better positions. And we have 2 Fat Boys in the east. A lot of artillery, a lot of T1 bombers. There's a lot of T1 fervors as well for some anti-building damage. The artillery fire from those designed this, not designed just for buildings, but very good against buildings or structures, whatever word you want to use. We have some crabs just running by. They don't care what's on the the eastern side of them. Strap bombers going after the lead crab. The crab is down. Nuke launch commencing once again coming out of Wi-Fi. This is going for PD nuke. Nope, it's going for the position up here. Going to take out a bunch of defenses and offensive structures. The Colossus don't care. They're just going to go full send it into this mass fab base that Wi-Fi has constructed. They're going for the first mass fab, but one is not enough. They're attacking the shields. Fat Boys being used for defensive shields as well. The pigeons are... Oh, they both die, and the pigeon is not down. Ooh, that is a loss. Both those Colossus are dead, and that nuke will land here pretty soon. Oh, nope, looks like it was shot down by that SMD back there. But now the Salvation is targeting the air grid in the north here for Neutron. He is suffering. He's been suffering all game for the most part. He's been suffering a lot of T3 strap bombers. Where? Those are T1, unless they weren't there. I guess they were there earlier. They're not there now, but they are coming down the middle. Another attack is commencing. But ASFs are en route. I won't do the tracking for this one because it's not going to work that great. Strap bombers are going to be taken out pretty quickly. There are Cybern and UEF variety in there, but most of them are not even going to make it. There it goes. That's it. Those strap bombers are down. Artillery raining around the map here for Team 2, and I feel like at this point I can probably speed it up just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit, just in case something happens. But we can see just Team 2's Wi-Fi just sitting there being like, I'm just going to hit a button and then just wait until something happens, essentially. Nuke launching here for Team 2. It's being for point defense. The Colossus are merging. Go away, stupid visual glitch. The nuke is going to land, of course, because there's no enemy SMD nearby. This Colossus should be fine. Nope, not just under. Colossus here taking a huge hit in those hit points pool. We do see units now retreating off the front line for Team 1, and we can just tell it is the beginning of the end for Team 1. Team 1 was leading a decent amount. They got the early kill in the west. Wacko got a dual base, and then Wi-Fi just went and just built a bunch of air facilities and just said, have at thee. And he did lose air superiority for a while, though. He did lose air control and lost that donut, which I haven't seen him build another one since then, thinking, it's probably not worth the mass. But that Salvation really coming in handy for him. The Scath is now in the green. And we see some missile fire inbound here from Team 1's player of ADZ. That is a great missile battery attack, and those missiles are puncturing through all those shields. We have artillery fire as well coming in, taking out some taking out a huge chunk of that grid. The shields, most of them are actually down around the Salvation. One of them, a couple of them are down. The T1 bombers are inbound to deal with this miss. We have some RASCOMs trying to hurriedly assist with building those nukes, launch as many nukes as possible. Volcanoes would definitely solve this miss pretty quickly. Will Team 1's missiles get through? I don't think so. There's more volcanoes up here, but that was a great missile battery attack by Team 1's ADZ. That wasn't play of the game, but that was a very good move there. But now the Fat Boys come in and they're just going to ruin it. More missiles are inbound though, but I feel like they're going... Oh, they're not going to the base. They're going to the east, and maybe they'll get a Fat Boy or two. Let's see. Oh, didn't he time it right? Oh, he is going to get... Oh, one more missile inbound. Gets the Fat Boy with the last missile. Look at that second missile. Second missile barrage is out. The Fat Boy has stopped moving, and that is not the place to be with missiles. And there he goes. Second Fat Boy is down. Third Fat Boy will not die. But 2 out of the 3 FAF points with that missile barrage attack. That was great. That was awesome. Planning for speed and how long it would take the unit to get there and how long it takes the missile to get there. That was just great use of that. We see the comm of Will-O-Wisp down here in the south trying to establish a nice little sneaky base, but I don't think it's going to work out for him. And there it goes here at 56 minutes in this game. Team 1 has lost their second player. It is Will-O-Wisp, the second highest rated, well, tied for the highest rated player on his team at 1800, and he is dead at 56 minutes. Definitely, he wanted to probably do a missile battery move, but it didn't really work out, unfortunately, here for him. And that is the last Cybern comm for Team 1. So that means no telemaser on the cards. There is a Scathus under construction. That will definitely not finish at this stage in the game. And it's just Team 1, it looks like they're just out of steam. They just can't keep making forward momentum. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Colossus to deal with versus 3. Not the numbers that Team 1 wants to face. It wants to be the other way around. But even so, we have Crabs in the west. We have artillery still launching in the west. We have a second Scathus, because why not? Because why not have a second Scathus? And the first Scathus is now done. The Salvation is perfectly fine. It was a little bit of a scare for Team 2, but, you know, they got it under control, and I think now I can just put it back up to probably 3 and watch the rest of this game unfold. Unfortunately, it's only going at +1 just because of the everything going on. But +1 is a little better than 0, based in terms of speed. Artillery raining in the east. Oh, there's a lot of Rascom's just suffering right now. Desync does occur, but of course we can see what way this game is going. Even if the desync didn't happen, pretty clear what Team 1 at this point. It was just a matter of time. There's a new missile battery barrage going after some more Fat Boys. We have some Colossus trying to intercept those Fat Boys, but again, at 57 minutes and 30 seconds with a Scathus, a Salvation, and a second Scathus almost done. That's not really going to go well here for Team 1, and those Colossus are just going to be shoot away anyways due to the incoming firepower. Neutron control case thinking the game is over, which to be fair it pretty much is. And there he goes in the corner of the map. Everything transferred over to the player of Plasma Wolf, and now we'll witness his fiery explosive death. Team 1 still has 3 players left. Team 2 now in the driver's seat at 4 players left standing. Wi-Fi, of course, definitely the powerhouse for his team. Definitely just, you know, it took him a while to get going, but once he got going, the Colossus, the Scathus did finish. Very surprising here for Team 1. Sabotron gets the control of it. And now it's going to rain fire down here. But even if it took out the one over here, there's still, again, a Salvation and a Scathus down here. So 2 Scathus versus 1 Salvation as well. That's, again, not the percentage, not the numbers you want to be on. Got bombers running around here in the south trying to go after Colossus, but just 7 Colossus versus a couple of them. It's not going to be enough. GG's get thrown in chat by Team 1's players. And that is essentially going to be it. Again, the game keeps going. Yep, Plasma Wolf control Ks. That is 2 players left standing on Team 1. And the rest of Team 1 recalls from the game. And again, I want to thank everyone for watching. Please like the video. Please comment down below what your favorite moment of the video, of course, was. Hit that sub button, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit all the buttons. And of course, let's get on to MVP and MUP. And in terms of MUP, I feel like, you know, my personal opinion, of course, this is always my personal opinion, ADZ did a great job. TAC missile battery here almost took out the Salvation. Had a great early game, almost died, but said, no, I'm going to build a heavy shield and stay on the front lines. And he did that for a while, and then eventually he retreated, of course, because that's what you do. Where is it? But speaking of which, where is, I think his comm isn't up because it teleported away, or gated away, I should say. Maybe it was over here, maybe it was back here. It was one of these 2 places, I feel like. But he stayed very firm. He did a great job. Definitely should be at least a 1400, if not a 1500 just based on this one performance, at least at this game, at least. Of course, MVP, I mean, do I give it to Wi-Fi? Do I not give it to Wi-Fi? I don't want it to be like, he's the highest rated player and he's MVP kind of thing. Like, that's, I mean, that happens, of course. That doesn't always happen. There are games where the highest rated player dies within the first 20 minutes. But the 4 emissary thing definitely started to sway his his team towards the victory. Even though he lost that artillery battery, Team 2 had established Team 2 Wacko had established his own facility in the west. Of course, we had the one in the east established by Kaiser a long time ago. And then he just said, I should take all that mess. I'm just going to put it into this. And then it almost died, but then it didn't. So, and he had a nuke launcher. So, I don't know. It's hard to determine. Oh, yeah. Also, ADZ somewhat led that push down the middle as well for that emissary destruction move. But I don't know. Without giving it to the highest rated player and on team 2 and the victor team for Wi-Fi, I really don't know who else to give it to. So maybe just default it goes to him. I don't know. Why don't you let me know down in the comments what you feel about the situation. And again, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video, and I will see all of you in the next one.